Greetings, class. I'm your fellow student, Clea Carter, PAD 750 with Professor Adam Wong. And this is my podcast on the New York State court case, The People versus Jose Garcia. Jose Garcia was a Dominican Republic native who immigrated to the United States and in 2005 became a permanent and legal resident of New York State, Brooklyn, New York, Kings County. Mr. Garcia was observed on May 24, 2006 by a New York City police detective selling cocaine to two buyers. He was subsequently charged with 2 counts each of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree and criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 5th degree. Mr. Garcia retained the services of a private attorney and ultimately pled guilty to a single count of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree. Prior to entering said guilty plea, Mr. Garcia inquired as to whether or not he could possibly be deported back to his native country for entering such a plea. His attorney told him that he wasn't very well educated in immigration law and he would have to seek the service of an immigration specialist elsewhere. Mr. Garcia sought the services of a paralegal who was an immigration specialist who advised him that there would be no consequences for entering said guilty plea. So, Mr. Garcia pled guilty to that single count of criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree and went on with his life. 3 years later, he visited his native country of the Dominican Republic, and upon return to the United States, he was detained by agents from ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, who charged him with violating 2 statutes. One was of the Immigration and Nationality Act with regards to commissions of crimes of moral turpitude, and the other was from the same act in regards to commission of crimes in relation to controlled substances. Now, what Mr. Garcia then did was file a 440 motion, which is a motion filed to vacate said judgment, and he claimed ineffective counsel at the time of entering that guilty plea. He basically claimed that prior to entering his guilty plea for criminal possession of controlled substance at the 7th degree, that he was ill-advised by his attorney as well as his paralegal, the immigration specialist. So what the courts did in determining the outcome of this case was to base it on another case, prior case law from Padilla versus Kentucky, which the outcome was determined largely on the 6th Amendment. Now, the 6th Amendment states, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. On March 31st, 2010, the United States Supreme Court greatly expanded the 6th Amendment rights of the criminally accused, basically in relation to the case Padilla versus Kentucky. The court held that an attorney failed to provide effective or competent representation of a non-citizen when he failed to advise his client that his guilty plea would likely result in deportation of the United States. Now, in the Padilla versus Kentucky case, Mr. Garcia was basically busted carrying a large quantity of drugs in his cargo carrier truck, and upon pleading guilty to lesser charges, he was immediately deported from the United States. And much like Mr. Garcia, he entered a motion of ineffective counsel at the time of entering that guilty plea. Now, with regards to the 6th Amendment and its March 2010 expansion, the courts based their judgment on Padilla versus Kentucky and found that Mr. Garcia had indeed received ineffective counseling, and his guilty plea and sentence was vacated immediately. There you have it, folks. Jose Garcia exonerated.